Well, how's it going, everybody? Bobby Benally here alongside Andrew Wood here at the KCBD Digital News Desk inside the newsroom for another fourth round of the playoffs. We're only got a handful of teams, or less than a handful of teams, I guess you can say. So just a lot of, just a few games that we have on tap.
Yeah, there's 3 games involving our area teams. It's that time of the year. We started with 85, now we're down to 4, and in a best case scenario, only 2 will be playing on past this week. Of course, we'll get to Lubbock Christian. This is their championship game, and then Klondike-Jayton playing each other, and then ILU playing one of the toughest teams in the state.
Yeah, and that's going to be on Friday night. It's going to be Idalou versus Wall at 6 p.m. in San Angelo at San Angelo Stadium. And then on that 1A side, we have Jayton taking on Klondike at 6:30 at Colorado City. And then, as you mentioned, in the TAP side on Saturday, I guess Saturday morning at 11 a.m., same time as Tech, it's going to be Lubbock Christian versus Dallas Christian. That game will be at Waco ISD Stadium in Waco. But Andrew, let's just go ahead and just start previewing. Let's go with Idalou versus number 2 Wall.
Yeah, and we've referenced these 2 teams played earlier in the year, which we've referenced a great deal here on this segment. And I want to say it was Idalou's homecoming, but Wall came in and won 35-21. And on record, the Wildcats are the only team to have given the Wall Hawks a hard time. The game's in San Angelo, which is kind of interesting neutral side because it's almost like a home game for Wall. But if any team can stand up to these guys, it's proven to be Idalou, unless you count Jim Ned, who's also really good. Now, they lost last week. Wall, I've learned about their running back, Brady Neal, and their offense, and they can throw the ball pretty effectively. I want to say they function on a spread offense, and Landon York, from what I've seen on the stat sheet, has had 51 touchdowns on the year. And so it's going to be him against the playmakers from Idalou, who we've talked about. And Idalou's a much different team. That might be why they played him so tough. And, yeah, you have Cameron Lutrick, A.J. Huddleston, and Colt Gandy, I believe is the name. And neither team, since that game, has even lost. The Ball hasn't lost at all. Idalou hasn't even – they've been on an 8-game winning streak since then.
And, I mean, anything can happen. I mean, that game was October 3rd, so that was basically, 2 months ago?
Yeah, and Idalou's even much better now than they were then. And last week, people kept thinking that was going to be their final game with Canadian, just because it was Canadian. And I was like, no, just give them a chance. They almost came back and won last year, and they're even better. So it's the same thing. And then the Wall Hawks, last week against Slayton, yes, they won 56-7, but even late in the first half, it was a 14-7 game.
And we will have highlights of that game on the End Zone starting at 10 o'clock with just the complete highlights of that game. So hopefully we pull out a Idalou victory so they can advance on to next week.
It'll be the winner of Gunner and Leonard. And, of course, we always hear about those legendary matchups with Gunner and Canadian. So now it's throughout the state, Wall wants to be in that spot, but now Idalou wants to shake things up for them.
Let's go ahead and go to the 1A side of things now. We have Jayton, number 1 Jayton, taking on number 2 Klondike.
Yeah, I'm so excited that these 2 teams are actually playing each other. When I go through our stats every Friday night, these 2 teams, they had 45 of just about everyone. I mean, the one exception, it was in week 1 in a rain-delayed game where Jayton beat Ira 31-16, only because it was called for weather. Ever since then, it's been pretty straightforward. Same way for Klondike. Now, this deep in the playoffs, teams are figuring them out. The number 3 Benjamin Mustangs last week put Jayton to work, as we can see in the highlights. Jayton won 76-62. That's the first game in ages where they haven't just 45 and the Cougars, they needed comeback wins against Motley County 2 weeks ago, and then Miami, that game, I was actually at that game in Logny last week, and they trailed at halftime, but they just pulled away in the second half. And it's going to be nice seeing Cole Gentry, Bodie Ham, Sean Staniland, and now Lorenzo Vargas from Jayton, all explosive players on the same field as Cannon McGee, Luke Smith, and Jared Quintanilla.
And these teams played last year, correct? In basically the same round?
Yeah, I want to say it was Jayton won 78-40 or.
Okay. And like we mentioned, with the Idalou game, we'll definitely have complete highlights of this game versus number one versus number 2. The next game we got on tap is actually on Saturday morning. It's going to be Lubbock Christian in the TAPS state title game against Dallas Christian in Waco.
Yeah, and that game's going to coincide with the Big 12 championship. And, of course, these 2 games were planned well in advance. You can't say, weren't they paying attention? And you had 2 high-stakes games at the same time. And But, yeah, Lubbock Christian, they're peaking right now. 2 weeks ago, you saw how they played against a very good team from San Antonio, Holy Cross. They won that one by 3 scores, 48-27. And Bernie Geneva, 71-13. That was probably one of their best games yet. And like they know the Chargers from Dallas Christian very well. They're the defending state champions. They're the teams that eliminate. That's who took them out last year, 43-38. And so, yeah, Lubbock Christian, I think this is who they want to be facing. Now, this is also their third time back to Waco ISD Stadium in the last 4 years. I was there in 22 and they beat Shiner St. Paul, and then they fell to a very good, very talented team from Dallas First Baptist that next year. So now the ball's in their court again.
And it's sad to say, but Andrew, I'm used to having about 3 or 4 pages of notes here on the talking points, and now we're just down to basically half a page. But I mean, that's the way it goes, and it's always survive in advance. But first off, congratulations to all these teams that have made it this far so far, and especially to Lubbock Christian on Saturday in that state title game. But that'll do it here from the KCBD Digital News Desk. As a reminder, once again, make sure to download the End Zone app. We'll have complete highlights of these coming up at 10 with all of that at 10 o'clock on KCBD News Channel 11. But for Andrew Wood, I'm Bobby Vanali. Take some time to really enjoy your life today, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you hopefully next week. Talk to you later.
Okay.